1970, 1971. I was writing for magazines right out of high school, including Good Times. Hippie was peaking, and I'm sure the name passed by me, David Bowie, and kept on going. Hunky dory, folk singer in a floppy hat, okay, whatever. I deeply trusted my mentoress, Gloria Stavers, who ran the Teen Bible, 16 magazine, and in 1972, she ran a cool, fab, groovy review of The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars by David Bowie. As RCA was one of the few labels that wasn't sending me free records, and because I trusted Gloria, I went out and actually bought a copy, listened, smiled, cried, identified, and was transformed forever by this artist who, I realized, was me, knew me, talked about me. I became a Bowie boy. I wore the album to death, became a Bowie witness, practically going door to door, turning my friends onto it, onto that queer, as some said. I wondered why I wasn't hearing this on album rock radio, or why the brilliant single from the album, Starman, wasn't racing up the singles chart. Then I heard radio guys making fun of the idea of David Bowie, saw Robert Christgau belittle the recorded work of this fairy, as Christgau referred to him in the Village Voice. And I remembered where I was, where I had always been, trapped in hateful, homophobic America in the early 70s, and now they had a new target, David Bowie. I became a vengeful warrior, found out about the Bowie-based company MainMan, headquartered in New York City, populated with Warhol-related folks like Lee Black Childers, Cherry Vanilla, Tony Zanetta, Jane, who was still Wayne County, and all the rest. Bowie's company became a gay umbrella of sorts for Lou Reed, Iggy and the Stooges, Dana Gillespie, and Mott the Hoople. David and Angie Bowie were the rulers of this empire, with manager Tony DeFries running the business. I made frequent trips to the office in the city, got on their mailing list, and fought the losing battle for Bowie to be taken seriously. Ziggy was a low-charting flop on the album chart. I was devastated, and that made me more determined. The album that followed, Aladdin Sane, cemented the problems that were already evident. AM and FM radio didn't want to know about this homosexual, which is what I was told Cousin Brucey said about playing Space Oddity, the one glam period single that actually got some brief airplay. Aladdin Sane's cover art with the nude, colorful Thunderbolt graphic cemented the unisexual image. There were no hits off the album. The fabulous Genie bombed on the singles chart. They removed the gay-oriented hit single from the UK album, John, I'm Only Dancing, from the US album, and replaced it with Lady Grinning Soul. RCA and MainMan had begun to panic. The hillbillies in America were not having it. Time and a cover of Let's Spend the Night Together were also released as singles and flopped as well. I was livid, as were the core followers, but the result was no more touring from Bowie and the end of the Spiders, as the band was dissolved. 1973 saw the next Bowie album, Pin-Ups, and its single, Sorrow, do no more business than the previous releases, even after NBC's Midnight Special gave him an entire 90-minute program timed with the release. Changes were to follow. Bowie started wearing a suit, and the MainMan gay empire was diffused. A lot of money was going out, but not coming back in. After Diamond Dogs and another flop single, Rebel Rebel, in 1974, Bowie put on a suit and made some great soul, funk, dance records and started having hits, a #1 with Fame and more that followed. He went into various musical genres, and years later, those old albums became hailed as classics by the same people who did everything they could to destroy them and him. I followed it all, sometimes losing interest, but I knew and know that gay Bowie was always in there, and that he is the man who changed the world. He will be missed, but certainly not forgotten. In my memories of 1972 through 1975, my active involvement will always be with me. R.I.P. David Bowie.